The first step in our horizontal installation process is to install the base trim that sits at the bottom of our cladding boards. Today, we have used a base trim called a toe mould, part number IQ016, with a capped starter trim, IQ002, installed over the top to allow our first board to hook onto. We have measured, cut and screwed this capped start at the very base of our intended cladding. It is crucial that this toe mould trim is installed level. Once the bottom trim is installed, we repeat this process at the top of the intended clad wall. Here, we will use a trim that is able to be fitted with a cap, as this allows us some room for error when cutting the boards to length. We will use the IQ004. The next step is to install the starter base trim from the corner we wish to have our first full panel. As you can see here, we have selected an external corner trim with part number IQ009. This type of trim allows a full board to be installed on one face and a ripped or trimmed board to be fitted on the other. Both of these corner faces will have cover caps fitted. We have repeated this process on the other corner. All these trims can be cut on a traditional compound miter saw with an aluminium blade fitted and screwed into place using 12 gauge by 20mm class 4 hex head screws. Once all base trims have been installed, start by measuring the distance between the left and right hand base trims. Cut your first panel to length, keeping in mind you will have a cover cap that allows you to have some room for error when cutting. Now we introduce the first interlock panel, carefully aligning it into the hook section of the base trim. Pull the panel to engage it into the hook and screw the interlock panel into place. Once the first panel is installed, simply repeat the process up the wall, ensuring you fully engage the hook on the interlock panel each time before screwing it in place. For specific detail on how to trim around a perforation, such as a window or door, please watch the specific video for this in our installation series. Once you are near the end of your wall, you will need to trim a board to fit into the final base trim. As you can see here, the installer is measuring the distance from the reference line on the last fitted board to the final base trim. As this is less than a full board, he will use this measurement to remove the section of material from the cladding board so it will fit neatly. When cutting the cladding board, remember all cuts will be hidden under the covering caps. After the board has been trimmed, insert and engage the hook like normal and then screw off to the base trim using a 12 gauge wafer head screw. This type of screw is required as the cover cap needs to be installed over the screw head. Install the covering caps by placing them in position and firmly tapping them into the base trims. This completes our video on the horizontal interlock installation process. If you would like to know more, please contact us at valmontgibson.com.